guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through my tarot collection, but I'm not going to be showing you all of them because then the video would just be like way too long. But this is going to be part 1, and if people want to see part 2, I will come back and do that. I still have a lot of decks, but I massively downsized a year ago because I had a lot of like romance decks and love decks that I felt like I didn't need. The first deck I want to show you guys is my standard Rider-Waite Smith tarot deck, and this wrap, oh my god, there's like a motorcycle outside making a noise. Okay. Anyway, I got this wrap years ago in Savannah, Georgia. Really random, but yeah, that's where I got it. I will just open it up to show you. This is one of the most classic tarot decks out there. This is not my first deck ever. It's actually my second one, but I learned mostly with this deck. My first ever tarot deck was actually a Welcome to Night Vale tarot deck. If you know Welcome to Night Vale, good for you. You are a cool person. And I at first used that Welcome to Night Vale deck, but then as I was trying to like connect more deeply to the actual meanings of the cards, because the Welcome to Night Vale deck that I had, it does follow the classic Rider-Waite Smith system, but some of the pictures, if you don't already know the meanings of the cards, it's like harder to glean that from the Welcome to Night Vale cards than from the Rider-Waite cards. I actually don't have that many tarot decks. I only have like a handful of actual tarot decks, and the rest are oracle cards. The tarot deck that I got the most recently is Goddess of Love Tarot by Gabriela herstik, and I really love this tarot deck. It's very much my aesthetic. The backs look like this with this like pink moon, and I will show you some example cards here. This one is the 9 of Swords, Ace of Swords. This one is the 4 of Cups, but I'm trying to like cover up the body underneath because YouTube may not like that. There is a specific guidebook that comes with this deck, but I don't really use it much. Now we're getting into the oracle decks. Angel Answer by Radleigh Valentine, artwork by Marius Michael George. Okay, that's like a really regal name. It has a very particular aesthetic to it, and it's a particular aesthetic you'll notice on a lot of like new age Christian oriented decks, and I'm not saying whether that's good or bad. The main reason why I keep this deck is because it's one of the very few that actually has very clear specific meanings. There's very literally cards in here that say yes, no, unlikely. There's this card that says improving health. Like, in my experience, not a lot of decks have this clear of messages. In most cases, that's a good thing, because I'm of the opinion that trying to get just a straight yes or no answer from the cards, I kind of feel like it's never as simple as that. But never say never, girl, sometimes it is. So sometimes you want to have your classic spread that you're doing, even though I don't really like use actual spreads. Some people might not like that, but everything that I do is I'm like throwing half the deck onto the table. But sometimes you want to add, I'll pull one from the middle of the deck right now. Yeah, so this is a good example. Like, it says like unlikely. Sometimes you do a whole spread and you're like, okay, what is the main takeaway? Then if you pull a card like unlikely, you can say to yourself, oh, the outcome that I was thinking was going to happen is unlikely to happen. It's just an example. It's useful for that reason. Starcodes Astro Oracle by Heather Robbins with artwork by Lucas de Souza. Damn, the people that are making these decks have these like really complex names. Like, we're talking 4 names per person. Okay, this is the box. I can show you the back if you want. I really like this deck. This is one of the decks where I do use the guidebook because the meanings can be pretty elaborate, but at the same time, you don't have to use the guidebook every time, which I like. If you have a good knowledge of astrology, and if you also follow the keywords that are on the bottom. I like the aesthetic of this deck. It's got some geometric looks to it. I'll show you. This is the Cancer card. The subtitle for the Cancer card says Immerse, and it's number 4. This is the Saturn card. It says Structure. A lot of the aspects of astrology are covered in this deck. They have a card for every planet. They have a card for every house, for every zodiac sign. And they have, I think they have asteroids in here too, because there's Vesta, which I'm pretty sure is an asteroid. I'm not super into asteroids. There are a few things with astrology that I want to learn more about this year. We have the confrontation, opposition. This would be when 2 planets are in opposition. This is like an aspect that you would see. I want to learn more about aspects and degrees this year because I have a very surface level understanding of those things. I would like to get more into it. I guess part of the reason why I didn't before is because for me personally, I feel like astrology for predictions and for self-understanding is most accurate and most helpful to me when I like zoom out and look at it bigger picture. Oracle of the Fairies, this is one of my favorites that I use most frequently because it's sort of in between a very simple deck like the Angel Answers and a more complex deck like the Starcodes Oracle, in that it's mostly positive and it's all advice oriented, pure intention. I like the pictures of the fairies. Transformation. This is one of the prettiest cards. It's the Hope card, and there's a beautiful rainbow and a dove flying in the distance. It's just really pretty. And the card backs, I love the card backs also. So when I'm just wanting like a positive message, a lot of the time I will reach for this deck. And I forgot to say who this deck is by. It is by Karen K with artwork by Ginger Kelly. This deck, I don't use it all the time, but it is one of my favorites because Jasmine Beckett Griffith, she is one of my favorite artists for Oracle decks. She does this very almost chibi, like I'm not going to be able to describe this properly, but it's kind of like big eyes, chibi, kitsch, fairy tale, like so many... Like, you can use so many words to describe this because it's like a blend of several things, but it's basically these like cartoon girls with huge heads and giant eyes and tiny bodies. And something about that, I just like it. Here's this card, Sea Chariot. You can kind of see stylistically what I'm talking about. I know that this style is not going to be for everyone. Some of you guys are going to think that it's weird as hell. But I kind of like that I like that it's a little bit eerie and strange. It adds to that mystical factor. And Jasmine Beckett Griffith, she does a lot of these fairy tale or mystical creature inspired decks. And then the guidebook is useful and interesting because she's really inventing her own system of meanings and creating her own world within the Oracle deck. It's also not a deck that's all positive. So while the fairy deck leans more positive with slightly constructive, this, if it comes out reversed, it's more of a critical and constructive meaning in the guidebook. But there are also certain cards that just lean a little bit more what people would consider negative, even if really it's probably not that negative. There are just some people who are really reluctant to give any kind of message spiritually that isn't, you're perfect, everything you're doing is perfect, your life is perfect, you're gonna be perfect in the future, you're gonna be perfect now, you're gonna be perfect. Like, oh my god. So I do not vibe with that. This is the card that is on the cover, Venus with cherubs. However, I will say, speaking about diversity, this deck is not diverse at all. I still value it for the art style, but if you're someone who cares about that, maybe don't pick this one up. I like this one of the girl with the alligator. This butterfly card is so pretty too. I'm sure you guys can tell why I like it. And the title of this deck, if I wasn't clear, it's called Myths and Mermaids, Oracle of the Water. Green Witch Oracle, Discover Real Secrets of Botanical Magic by Cheralyn Darcey. This deck, sometimes I read the guidebook, most of the times I don't, but what's interesting about this guidebook is that it offers you like real information about the plant that the card is representing. For example, here we have the entry for lime, which in this deck means luck. And not only does it include the oracle meanings, it has a quote, it has how the plant is cultivated, and its magical correspondences, and it even includes a spell at the bottom. I think this deck is a good resource if you're wanting to learn magical correspondences of different herbs and like vegetables and stuff. I'm probably not going to be putting carrot into my spells. If you're someone who likes to cook with intention, especially like those vegetable meanings are going to be more relevant to you than they are to me. But any of like the flower stuff, the herbs, that's all stuff that I would use. Here we have thyme, which is labeled courage. And they also put symbol for what element the plant is associated with. And they put zodiac signs. So they labeled thyme as Libra. And I'm not totally positive why that is. Pumpkin is Cancer. Peppermint is Libra again. Violet is Pisces. See, this I can see. I can see Violet being Pisces, definitely. Magical spell cards. Craft, cast, activate, empower by Lucy Cavendish. These, I mostly use them for reading. I don't really use them as spells, affirmations, incantations, whatever. There is a guidebook, but most of the time I don't use it because I feel like the descriptions written on the cards are enough to understand. This one, best possible decision. It'll have like a little rhyme on the bottom. So this one says, Artemis, goddess of the bow, help me see what must be known. You can pull a lot of meaning from the card itself without having to open the book. Glamour, into this mirror, I now see the realms of possibility. This is my giant rider-waite tarot deck. And I don't use this for readings very much, but what I use it for very frequently is for my altar space. Every new moon, I select a tarot card that I feel represents the energy of the sign that the new moon was in. And I leave it up on my altar all month until the next new moon. Right now, I have the Nine of Pentacles up. But at one point recently, I had the Queen of Wands up. You can see these are pretty big. I like to use them either for that or for use in spells. If I want to evoke the energy of a certain tarot card, I will prop it up next to my candle working or whatever it is that I'm doing. They're really just the standard rider-waite smith cards, but in a very big size. Last but not least for this video is Bluebird Lenormand. I don't use the Lenormand the way that you are supposed to use the Lenormand. I know there's a specific system that you are supposed to use if you want to read them like actual Lenormand cards. Most of the time, I haven't really felt the need to do that. The Lenormand, in my experience, is very symbolism based. The cards are like tree, lady, birds. It's giving like nouns. It's not like some decks, they have more descriptive or prescriptive writing on the cards. I mean, I guess these do also, but it's like very general concepts, if that makes sense. So heart. The heart is a symbol of fulfillment and joy. Romance is in full bloom for you to enjoy. Serenity rests deep in thy heart. Loving yourself is where it should start. Similar to the angel answers, I like these best as an addition to whatever reading I'm doing to add some additional symbolism and added clarity to the reading. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. I am probably going to put a list of the decks that I showed in this video in the comments, and let me know, do you guys read tarot? Did you watch this just for fun? Are you going to get any of these decks? Do you have any of these decks? If you guys are interested in getting a tarot reading, I actually have them on my Instagram. So if you want to go follow my Instagram and look at my pricing and availability. If you enjoyed, comment a star emoji down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.